Hi everybody, it's Miss Toth here. The funny thing is I've already recorded this twice and I talk too much. So I'm going to separate this into smaller portions. I'm going to do a very quick review of place value, super fast. Then I'm going to stop the video. And then I'm going to do a tiny little video on adding with regrouping. Tiny review. Then I'm going to stop that video. And then I'm going to do a third video and it's going to be on subtraction with regrouping. And then hopefully by the time I'm all done this, I have only given you 3 small videos instead of one enormous video. So here we go. This is pretty funny. Usually when I do lessons with you, I stand in front of you and I have an idea of where I want to go with my lessons. But what I do is as your teacher is I ask you a lot of questions and I look at your body language and I look at how you're interacting with your friends and the questions that you're asking me, and if you all seem to understand what's going on, then we move along quickly. If a lot of you are not really understanding it, then I slow things down and we take some time just working on whatever it is that we've been doing in the classroom. And if it's kind of half and half, I speed up a bit and I slow down a bit. So it's really hard for me to do this right now because I'm not in front of you and I can't really see how you understand what's happening. So this first lesson is just a very quick review on place value. So I brought this from the classroom. Whoops, wrong way. And we remember using this, the place value mats, the ones, the tens, the hundreds, and the thousands place value. Now, you don't have this at home, but you can draw this. So when you're doing adding and subtraction, take a look at this. Okay, use it. Draw a picture with a piece of paper, or if you have a whiteboard or anything else, use that if that's your strategy that helps you with addition and subtraction. Also, I brought from the school our ones cubes and our 10 rods and our hundreds flats. Just to review, this means 1. This means 10. 10 means 10 of these, right? Okay. Hundreds flat means 100 of these or 10 of these guys all the way across. We played around a lot with these. I hope you remember this. Some of you said, I played with these all the time in grade 1. Yes. Okay. Remember this. You can draw these when you're doing adding and subtraction. It's a really good strategy to have. So that's another strategy that we've used, is using the place value mats, drawing the place value blocks to help us with addition and subtraction and with regrouping. Okay, so very fast. If I write down this number, more like this. If we write down this number 34, how many ones do I have? Yes, I have 4 ones. So I can draw it this way. How many tens do I have? Yes, I have 3 tens. That's how much I have. So if I were to represent this number with place value blocks, it's going to look like this. Okay? Now, one thing I kept telling you a lot all this school year is the cool thing about numbers is 34 could look like this, but 34 doesn't have to look this way. We don't need to represent it just this way. Numbers, even though 34 is always going to be 34, the way we represent this number can change all of the time. Okay, so I can draw 34 this way, but I can also draw 34 this way. I can draw it as 2 10 rods, and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I can draw it as 14 1 cubes. I don't have to draw it that way. I can draw it this way. I can draw it as 1 10 rod and 24 1 cubes. Can you think of another way that you can represent, 34? You could draw a picture right now. You could talk to a family member. Good. Now, this is great. We do this all the time, and one of the easiest something that you can relate most to is when you see the number 25. And we think about it as 25 cents. Okay? 25 cents can be represented as the 25-cent Caribou coin, right? So you say, yay, I have 25 cents. It could look like this. That's my Caribou. Not very good. It could be represented in other ways too. You can represent it as 2 10 cents with our Blue Nose sailboat. And our 5 cent with our little beaver on it. Okay? It can be represented that way as well. 25 can be represented in other ways too. Stop for a minute and share how 25 cents can be represented with somebody in your family. Excellent. So, if you understand that numbers can be represented in lots of different ways, not just in one particular way, you already understand the basic understanding of how to break numbers apart and how to manipulate them, especially if you need to regroup, if you need to regroup for addition or for subtraction as well. Okay, so that is a very quick review of a whole bunch of lessons that we did basically, I don't know, for a long, long time. Okay, same thing, just to review, just for my little friends in grade 3. I think a lot of you in grade 3 understand this concept as well. If I say 345, this number can be represented in lots of different ways too. So let's go through it really quick. I can represent it as 3 hundreds flats, 4, messy writing, Miss Toth, 4 10 rods, and 5 1 cubes. Okay, I can represent it another way. I can represent it as 300 flats, 1 2 3 10 rods, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 1 and 15 ones cubes. Okay, I can represent this even more in lots of different ways too. I can represent this as 200 flats. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 14 10 rods and 5 1 cubes. Okay, with this number, I want you to think of, I'm going to make you think, 3 other ways to represent this number. Go. Excellent. Okay. If at some point that you're really not understanding what I'm saying, you can't really remember this whole lesson, can you please get your mom and dad to email me? I just want to very quickly go back and do 345 because we represented that number with the place value, but we didn't represent it numerically. So another way that we can do this is represent it as 300 plus 40 plus 5. Hope you remember that. Okay, so again, when we did the number, what was that number before? I'm going to guess it was 45, but I can't remember anymore. We can represent it as 40 plus 5, or any other way. Think about different ways you can manipulate numbers, how that number 345 can stay 345 while you're representing them other ways as well. Okay, that's the end of our very, very quick review of place value of 9.5 minutes. Next one, we're going to talk about addition.